A fighting opening century stand and some more help from the weather ensured that Yorkshire escaped with a draw after being asked to follow on by Kent on the final day of their LV County Championship second division match. The last morning in Headingley began with Yorkshire looking to avoid that follow-on. With Adil Rashid and Ajmal Shahzad at the crease, they resumed on 316 for 6, still needing 72 runs to do that. And the way the two batsmen went about their business early on, that avoidance looked the most likely outcome. Rashid, who began the day on 40, soon reached his fine half-century. He came off 93 balls, and that was the 8th four of an impressive-looking knock, which had come under some pressure. Kent hadn't helped themselves throughout with their fielding, even though catching a hard ball in these temperatures is never easy. This drop was by Charlie Shrek off his own bowling. Thankfully for Shrek, it wasn't too costly, as he soon had Shahzad leg before on 25, the first wicket in Kent colours for the former Nottinghamshire paceman. 37 runs were still needed to avoid that follow-on when Ryan Sidebottom was the 8th man out, his former teammate Shrek having him held in the slips by Ben Harmison, the man who dropped Johnny Bairstow so crucially on the previous day. With Richard Pyrah nursing an horrific broken hand, it was now left to Rashid to get Yorkshire over the line. But Shrek, bowling a superb spell, then made it 3 wickets in 3 overs, Rashid nicking a big drive behind. With 32 still needed, incredibly the brave Pyrah came to the crease. Batting is a hard enough occupation anyway, but trying it with one hand behind your back, and probably still in some pain, is simply impossible. And he was immediately bowled to give Shrek figures of 4 for 90. Yorkshire had been dismissed for 364, and that meant they trailed by 173 and were soon back in. They should have been in trouble straight away, but not for the first time in this match. Geraint Jones dropped a sitter. It was something his side simply couldn't afford to happen. Kent needed wickets before lunch to give themselves a real chance, and Mark Davis was causing all sorts of problems for Joe Root, who'd had his life on 6. Slowly but surely, both he and Joe Sayers settled in and eased the pressure with some boundaries. Runs were still important, as they may have helped use up valuable time later in the day. Both batsmen survived until lunch before getting their heads down and dominating much of the afternoon session to break Kent's hearts. Darren Stevens had plenty of success with the Tiflex ball in the second division last summer, and it will be interesting to see how he goes with the Duke this year. He wasn't getting too much movement here, and that allowed Root to score freely with some well-timed shots. Root made a name for himself last summer, and so this is an important season for his development as an opening batsman. He really picked up the pace as the innings went on, and went to a well-executed 50 from 87 balls, getting there with 2 successive boundaries off Matt Coles. Every shot must have wounded Jones behind the stumps. Another Root boundary brought up the 100 stand between the Joes. Given the way the top order had fared in their first innings, this was an important stand for more than just this match. Root was finally out for 76, made out of an opening partnership of 115 in 38 overs. Adam Riley found some good turn to bowl the batsman. Riley was a bit more fortunate with his second wicket, which swiftly followed. Sayers was hit on the full and given out leg before for 43. And when Andrew Gale glanced Shrek down the leg side and was held by a relieved Jones, Yorkshire had lost 3 in 5 overs and were back in trouble on 125 for 3, 15 minutes before tea. Any more wickets before the break would have buoyed Kent no end, but Anthony McGrath, avoiding a pair in the process, along with Bairstow, were able to stop the immediate rot as the weather just started to close in again, as it has done for a fair part of this match. Bairstow was out early on in the final session, Shrek taking his 6th wicket of the day as the batsman drove loosely to Scott Newman, but the rain soon arrived after that to save Yorkshire's bacon. They ended on 146 for 4 in a match in which 76 overs were lost to the weather in the last 2 days, which possibly cost Kent victory. Behind throughout, Yorkshire will be happier with their 9 points than Kent will be for their 10. The visitors are on the road again next, as they now go to Northampton.